So let's do that. I'm glad I just found that. So I will be able to, all right, let's do this, everyone. Welcome again to, I'm still working out some of the technical difficulties with this particular live stream. But welcome. I am happy that you are here. And you can see that the topic that we're going to be covering on this particular live stream is discovering the mission of your soul. Okay, that is the energy that is available this particular week, right? So if you have any questions, okay, please feel free to check out this particular video you can see here, Journey to Jesus. I made this because I do understand that when we are having some of these discussions in this particular live stream, that there might be some gaps of understanding for a typical church-going Christian or a typical Christian. Some of the language might be different, and so therefore to sort of fill you in on some of the information that might be not so clear in these live streams, I've made this particular video. So if you are questioning or if you have any further questions, take a look at this video. And as always, my friends, if you would like a free Zohar, please click on the QR code, fill out, there's a Google form. We will be so happy to send one out to you free of charge. We want everyone who would like a Zohar to have a Zohar, so please do take advantage. All right, so we can now finally begin, okay? So my friends, before we can discuss the spiritual opportunity for this week, and there is a huge one, a huge opportunity this week, we have to first ask and answer a fundamental question, okay? Now, I am aware that if you look across Christianity, that there is great disagreement about the answer to this question. Christianity is not very clear about the answer to this question, right? Christianity does not have an easy answer to this very, very fundamental question, maybe the most fundamental question that exists. And that is, who are you? Who am I? What are we made of? Right? So what lies within every human being? This is such a fundamental, crucial question. And this is where we need to start off with today. We need to answer this question, and we will be looking at the answer to this question from the perspective of Kabbalah. But before we get to that, let's first look at what Christianity or the church says about this particular question. So there's sort of two camps. The first one is, are we born in the image of God? And obviously that comes from this particular famous Bible verse from Genesis. And God said, you can see it on the screen here, and then God said, let us make mankind in our own image, in our own likeness. So God created mankind in his own image, in the image of God. He created them male and female. So that's the first side, right? That we are all born in the image of God in one way or another. On the other camp, right, which tends to fall in the realm of evangelical Christianity, which generally says that human beings are totally corrupt, that human beings have nothing redeeming within us, nothing. This is known as the doctrine of total depravity, and there's several different verses where this doctrine has come about. You can see a couple of them on the screen from Jeremiah. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? And then secondarily, the very famous verse from Romans, for all have sinned and have fallen and fall short of the glory of God. Okay, so I could speak about the Jeremiah verse and what's in the Zohar, but for now, we're just going to look at these two answers that Christianity generally accepts. Christianity generally accepts, to one degree or another, both of these things. And yet it is not very clear how both can be at the same time. At least I have never found a good Christian explanation about how we can be born in the image of God and how we can then be a part of or how we can reconcile the doctrine of total depravity, where it says that we have nothing redeeming about us as humans. Okay, so are you divine? Which would mean that you are born in the image of God. Are you depraved? Meaning that there is nothing inherently redeeming within us? Or is it somehow a combination of both? And now I am aware that the Catholic Church and some of the other Eastern Orthodox churches sort of take they blend both of these ideas together to one degree or another. But what is it that you believe, right? Who are you? What exists within a human being? Not just who you are, but who are we as humans? So let's get to what Kabbalah teaches, okay? Kabbalah teaches us a couple of things. So the first thing is that humans are indeed divine, okay? That within each and every human being, we have a soul, and Kabbalah is very clear that the soul is ultimately a spark of the Creator. Now, again, there are different videos that I have created that explain the spiritual, or the creation story according to Kabbalah, which is a little bit different than what you can find in Genesis 1. But ultimately, Kabbalah teaches that every single person has a soul, of course, but even more so, that spark, the roots of our existence, the roots of our soul is in God. Now, all right? And therefore, right, if God is endless, then our soul is endless. Then we are endless, okay? This is what Kabbalah teaches about our identity, our truest core nature. We are divine, and within us, we have everything that we need within us. And to speak about this idea that our soul contains anything, our soul contains everything, the Zohar is really clear. So we can return to this verse right here about being made in the image of God. And it says, right, when God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness," the Zohar is very clear that even though God is a singularity, and I think that Christians, right, with the idea of the Trinity, 3 in 1, and the idea of there is a singularity in God. But according to the Zohar, when the plural form is used, let us make mankind in our own image, right here, that what the Zohar tells us is that God, before he made mankind, he basically had a conference of sorts, a divine conference with all of the angels, with all of the rest of creation, and took an aspect, an element of every single part of creation and used that in order to make us humankind. And as a result, the reason why our jobs, our decisions are so powerful is because we have within us everything. And therefore, all of our decisions somehow influence the rest of the cosmos, the rest of the world. But we're kind of getting aside from it. So let's return. So before we get into that, right? So who are you? Well, according to Kabbalah, we are divine. Each and every person has a soul. That soul is ultimately a part of the Creator, and therefore our souls contain everything. But there's a little bit more to that. Also within us is the Satan. Now we need to be really clear here, okay? The Satan, who is the Satan according to Kabbalah, right? Now, in order to understand this, we need to remove our previous understanding of Satan. According to Kabbalah, the Satan and Satan obviously are the same word, but the concept of the Satan is slightly different. You may even know, right? This is something that is taught in church, that that Satan is a Hebrew word meaning adversary. But adversary against what? Well, according to Kabbalah, the Satan is an energy intelligence of opposition within us. It is a force that exists within us, within every human being. Yes, it does exist certainly on the outside of us, but it is a part of our existence here on this planet. But let's be clear, very clear. It is not us. It exists within us, but it is not us. Okay? And it will do anything in its power to persuade us from doing the wrong thing. And this is the reason why it's called the opponent or the adversary, right? Is because whenever we approach something that can directly benefit us, the Satan will try and talk us out of it. That might be something that we know that is right for us. The Satan will try and convince us that we shouldn't do that thing. Or if we are it will convince us, it will do its best to convince us to do the wrong thing. It is our dark side. Now, unfortunately, I have to work within the confines of copyright here, because I wish we could watch this whole clip, but we are going to only watch 30 seconds of this clip. Now, this is a pretty famous clip, but what this does is it does an amazing job of illustrating the Satan within us. Now, don't get me wrong, we are all very familiar with the voice within us, but this still does a great job of giving us a view. Again, I'm going to only play 30 seconds because of copyright, but I have a couple of links in the description if you want to watch it further.
Friend? You don't have any friends. Nobody likes you.
Not listening. Not listening.
You're a liar and a thief.
No.
You will go away. I hate you.
Okay, so unfortunately, that is all I can play, but I highly suggest that you take a look at this video because it does an amazing job of showing us the battle that happens. There are a couple of other links in the description box. There is an amazing song called High Ren that also does the same thing. If you have ever, it's such a part of our existence that it's not like we really need demonstrations of what it is. But there are some things that are so powerful, like this one clip of Gollum, and well as this other video. I suggest you take a look at it because it is extremely powerful. Okay, so who is the Satan? It is our dark side. And believe it or not, according to Kabbalah, it was created by God so that we might overcome it. Okay? And then the famous line. The greatest trick that the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he doesn't exist. So I have a question for you. Maybe a difficult question. Are you aware of the incessant voice of opposition within you? And if you're not, take this next week and just watch the loud voices that will try and derail you from doing what is right. Okay? All right, my friends. So with that is said, the reason why that is so important is because, again, we are divine according to Kabbalah, that our soul, it is a spark of God. If you go deep enough within us, within every one of us, we will find that our root is in God itself. Now, that does not mean that we are able to access that on an everyday basis, not yet at least, but we got to know that our core is divine. But my friends, it's not quite so easy, because inside of us too, even though it is not us, is the Satan. And that Satan will try and do anything in its power to prevent us from living amazing lives. Satan will do everything, as you can see, to pull us off of our path. All right, so we can now, with all of that, that was like the foundation. We can now take a look at the energy of this week, right? Now that we've talked about it and we understand from the Kabbalistic perspective what lies within each and every one of us, let's talk about the energy of the week. So to illustrate what is available, the spiritual opportunities for us, let me tell you a quick story, okay? Long ago, there was a king, and he had a contest, and the prize was an open vault. And for an hour, the winner of this contest could go in and they could take whatever they wanted for that particular hour, okay? So a lottery was cast and there was a particular winner, but before the winner was able to go into the vault for that hour, the king did a little background information on him, and the king found out that the winner loved beautiful music. Okay, so as the hour was beginning, the king, as a way to prevent the winner from actually accessing the vault, the king had amazing musicians, symphonies playing on every side. And what happened to the winner of the lottery? He was excited to be able to go into the vault, but he got distracted. He was the allure of the music was too much, and he forgot about what he was there to do. And before he knew it, the time was almost out. He was able to run in and get just a little tiny bit, but he lost out because he was distracted from the beautiful music. So let's be clear, okay? With that said, let's be clear. Every soul that exists on this planet has a distinct purpose. You have a distinct purpose for being here on this planet. And so the Zohar tells us, so Kabbalah tells us, no one else can complete the work of your soul. So if you are not completing or doing your best to be manifesting your soul's purpose, no one, the entire world will lack because of that inaction. Number two, even though we have a distinct purpose, how often do we veer off the path because we are distracted by the beautiful music? Okay? And let's be clear. Okay? Because the music is in this world is very beautiful, and we are so oftentimes distracted away from the things that we know we must be doing. However, my friends, this week, the Creator gives us an opportunity to rediscover the unique mission of our soul, okay? Or maybe you were unaware, completely unaware of what you were here to do. This is the week to be continually asking the Creator, what can I do to begin to get on the path of completing the immediate mission of your soul? Let's continue. So, the outer world primarily serves to distract us from the still small voice of our soul now. We all know, and we have all heard that still small voice, and it is powerful. We also know that the voice of the Satan is not small or still. The voice of our Satan is loud, and it will cause us at all moments to pull us off of the path of our soul. In this world of great distractions, It takes a great effort to be spiritual, to go within ourselves. But if we decide to welcome the opportunity of finding our soul, finding the mission of our soul within us, no one benefits greater than we do, right? So it's there's twofold benefit. Yes, we are going to be then fulfilled by completing and discovering our soul's mission, but just that action itself brings greater fulfillment. Our greatest fulfillment, as you can see, our greatest fulfillment and blessings come when we embark on a inner spiritual journey. If we are open to the idea that we do have a divine soul within us, and if we accept the journey to discover it, and listen, there's no coercion in spirituality. There's no one here, and the light God will never, ever force anyone to actually go on that journey. But if you accept it, if you accept that journey, well, then you are able to awaken the Creator that lies within and to draw into our lives more blessings than this physical world could ever provide. And this is the energy of the week, okay? There inside lies our soul, and it has a mission. You have something to benefit the entire world. So our homework, number 1, pause among the hustle and bustle to take a moment to hear and to listen to your hearts and to what makes it happy. What makes you truly happy? What makes you fulfilled? And we must reawaken this. And this is a constant reminder for us that our truest joy comes when we are sharing, when we were giving, and when we are loving others. So even though we might think that our soul's mission is to accomplish, ultimately our soul's mission is to impact those people around us, to provide value to the people around us, to whatever extent that we're able to do that. Number 3, ask for guidance. If you are unclear as to what your soul's mission is, this is your opportunity. Ask this week, what am I here to do? And unlike previous weeks, I have a tool for you as well, a tool, okay? If finding your soul's purpose on this life is too much, like where do I even begin, right? That some of you might be asking that question, okay? Instead, concentrate on your soul's purpose today, or when you wake up tomorrow morning. What is my soul's purpose today or tomorrow, right? Every day provides, and we know this, endless paths that we can take. There are so many decisions that we can do, but at each and every day, there's only one path of our soul. And that's the path that we want to be taking, especially if we are trying to manifest actively the desires of our soul and to be completing the mission that our soul came to do. We need to be on that path, and we can do this on a day-to-day basis. So what do? When we wake up in the morning, we should immediately thank the Creator for another day. And then we say this following prayer, okay? And you can see it here. Im yeshechana matzliach darki asher enochi cholek alea al zot yitpalel kol chasid alecha let metzot. And then you can see right here the translation. Creator, please make my mission and path for this day successful to do what you want me to do. I am begging, I am praying, I am awaking my pure desire to live my soul's mission for today. Say this again, definitely in the morning time, like before you even open your eyes, right? You want to be communing with God and asking these things of God. And then as the day progresses, because again, it's so easy to be pulled off of our true desire, our true soul's path. You can say it time and time again. And we also have the Zohar. Now, if there is ever a tool of the Zohar, or if there's ever a tool for quieting the source, the source of the Satan, I wasn't even going to say that, for quieting the source of the Satan, for crushing the Satan, for tearing it up, it is the Zohar. This is why we read it. And if you are in the Zohar on an everyday basis, you should be amplifying the voice of your soul, and you should be minimizing the voice of the Satan. If you need more, so we're about to enter into the Zohar reading right now. If you have any questions about the Zohar, please access this particular video. It will help understand why we're doing this, because we're not going to be reading it. So today's Zohar reading, as you can see here, is Vayechi. That is the section of the Torah that we're in, and the section that we're going to be reading is called Three Souls. So we are going to be looking at that right now. We are going to be starting with the relevance and seeing what the relevance is. Again, we are not going to be reading the English on this. We are simply going to be reading the Aramaic. So the relevance of this particular section. And again, if you need help, assistance through this week to be finding your soul's mission or to be greater manifesting it, you can return to this Zohar reading and access it, and it should help you find these things. The relevance of this Zohar reading. Again, we are in Vayechi. This is chapter 73. The title of it is Three Souls. The wisdom woven throughout this passage awakens a deep desire within us to know our true purpose in this world. A love for the light of the Creator and for the spiritual truths is kindled in our heart and soul, which in turn help unite the lower worlds with the upper worlds. Spiritual work requires both an intellectual and emotional understanding in order to provide us with the impetus to continue onward. Here, an emotional awakening concerning our source and origin is born within us as we realize that spiritual growth brings us nearer to our supernal Father. So our Zohar portion for today, starting with verse 740. Tachaze, talat nishmatini nun, vainun salkin, bedragin elain yadian, ve'al dainun talta, arbainun, chad nishmata ilaad dela itfas, velada itar be gizbera, de kartita, ila akol sheken tata'a vachai, nishmata dachod nishmatin, v'chu satem velada it galia le'amin, vela it yeda, v'kulchu be talian. Verse number 741. V'chai, de'itataf be itufa, de zahara, that is, you see that word right there? That is Zohar. You can see right here. It's translated as splendor. But we are tapping into the entire force of the Zohar, the force of the light, when we read that word right there. De char mela be'ego zehiruta de natef tipin margalan da it karshu kuchu chachad de kishrin de shaife de gufa chad v'chu ayel begavaychu ve'achze bachu aditea hu vainun chad hu velet bachu parishu chai nishmata ila'a tamiru dechola. Verse number 742. Nishmata achra de nukva de mit tamara bago de chelaha vehi nishmata leho umenaihu achida gufa le akza'a baho adita lachal alma ke gufa deihu mana le nishmata le mebad be avita ve'elen ke gavna dainun kashirin tamirin de lela. Verse number 743. Nishmata charachi nishmatin de sarakaya letata. Nishmatechon de sarakaya atyan meinun nishmatin ilayin mi nishmata de nukva uminishmata נשמתה דדחורה, ובגין כך נשמתין דסרקיה אלייין על כל עינון, חילין ומשריין דלילה. ויתמחה אלייין עינון, מטרין סיטרין עמי נחתין, לחילמה דעמי, אסתלקו מיני למלכה דהתיילד לבר. שדר לחד כפר, למרבה לאול גדלה, לעד דאית רבה ויולפין, לערכי דחכלה דמלכה שמת מלכה דחה ברא, רב דמית רבה, מה עבד ברחימו, דברי מה שדר לה, למטרוניתה, עמי בגינה, ואייל להחלה, וחד ימי כל יומה. כך קודשה ברכו. הוליד בר במטרוניתה, ומה ייחו נשמתה לאה קדישה שדר לה, לפר לחילמה יתרבה, ויולפון לאורחי דחכלה דמלכה, כיוון דיידה מלכה דחה ברא, יתרבה בחי כפר, וידן הוא למתה לחכלה, עבד ברחימו דברי דשדר למטרוניתה בגינה, ויעל להחלה נשמתה לסלקה מחילמה, חד דעתת מטרוניתה בגינה, ועלת לה בחכלה דמלכה, יהבת תמן לימין. 746. ויהי קודה אורחה דעלמה דיינון בני כפר, מכאן על פרישו דברי דמלכה מנייחו חד, פיקח הווה תמן אמר לון על מה אתון בכאן, וכי לאו ברא דמלכה איכו ולה עד חדזה למדד יתיר בנייחו, אלא בחכלה דאבוי, כך משה דאבה פיקח חמה בני כפר דאבה מכאן. על דה אמר בנים, אתם להשם אלוהיכם תתקודדו. Yeah. So I have a special guest right here. My wife is going to be reading a couple of verses. She is right here. You can see her there. And I will highlight. So we're on 747.
תחזה, אילו הבוא ידעין, כולהו צדיקיה היי, הבוא חדן, הבוא יומה, דמתי לון להסתלקה מהי אלמה. וכי לאו יקרה אלה הוא, דמטרוניתה, עתת בגיני הוא, ולהובלה לון להחלה למלכה, למחדי, בהו מלכה כל יומה, דה קודשה בריחו לה השתעשה אלה, בנשמתיהון דצדיקיה. 748. תחזה. התערותא דרחימו דכנסת ישראל, לגבי קודשה בריחו, נשמתהון דצדיקיה לטאטה. מתעתרין לה בגין דאינו נטיין מסיטרא דמלכה, מסיטרא דדחורה, והתערותא דמטה לנוקבה מסיטרא דדחורה, והתער רחימותה. השתכח דדחורה התער חביבו ורחימותה לנוקבה, וכדי נוקבה התקשרת ברחימותה לגבי דחורה. 749. כהי גוונה תאופתא דנוקבה למסדי מיין תתאין לקבל מיין אילאין. לאו איהו אלא בנשמתיהון דצדיקיה. זכאין אינון צדיקיה בהי אלמה ובאלמה דעתי. דעליהו קיימין אילאין ותתאין. ועל דה וצדיק יסוד עולם כתיב סתם.
Last verse.
750. ורזה דחולה צדיק, איהו יסודה דלעילה, ואיהו יסודה לטאטה. וכנסת ישראל התקלילת מצדיק, מלעילה ומטאטה, צדיק מהי סתרה, וצדיק מהי סתרה ירתין לה. הדאו דכתיב, צדיקים ירשו ארץ. ירשו ארץ ודאי, תחזה, צדיק אחסן לה להי ארץ, ואריקה לה ברכן בכל יומה, ויהב לה תפנוקין ועידונין. בלגידו הילאה דנגד עלה, והאו קימנה מילה.
Thank you. All right, guys. So that concludes our reading, our live stream for this particular week. Again, if you have any questions, any success stories, anything that you want to share, my email address, you can find it right there. Thank you guys so very much for joining. I really appreciate it. And hope you guys have an amazing, amazing week. See you guys all in the next video.